California Democrats are one step closer to approving a ballot measure that paves the way for new congressional maps. Lawmakers in Sacramento are trying to get a ballot referendum passed that could potentially net Democrats 5 more seats in Washington and the 2026 midterms. The measure still needs to pass the full Assembly and Senate before it goes to voters for final approval. And this push comes as Texas Republicans inch closer to approving new congressional maps that would create 5 additional Republican-leaning House districts. Katie Porter joins us now. She was a Democratic Congresswoman representing California and is now running for governor. Thanks for joining us. So you have supported this move by Democrats, but does all of this undermine the independent redistricting process?
Absolutely not. As I'm traveling the state running for governor, what I'm hearing over and over again from people is that they want California to push back and be a check on Donald Trump. They want someone who's going to fight for and protect our democracy. And that's exactly what California is doing here. We are using democratic tools, putting this directly to the people of California, giving them a say about whether or not they want to redraw these maps because of what to the undemocratic extreme action of a gerrymandered Texas legislature that's now going to act to even further gerrymander congressional districts.
What do you say to those who argue, look, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and now this is just going to have a cascade effect? What do you say?
What California is doing is very different than what Texas is doing. First, California was hopeful that if we said that we would do this, that Texas would stand down, that they would go back to what we've seen, which is redistricting only following a census. They have not. Second, the Texas legislature is the one acting here, a deeply gerrymandered legislature. In California, who's going to make this decision? The people of California. So we are using a democratic tool to reshape our democracy in response to the extreme undemocratic authoritarian activity that we are seeing out of Washington. And the last thing I will say is this is temporary. Built into the language that Californians will be considering is the fact that California will return to its really leading, groundbreaking, very, very, very excellent independent redistricting process here in just a couple of years. So this is a response to what I hope will be short-lived anti-democratic authoritarian activity out of Washington.
Have you been in conversations with any other Democrats about trying to redistrict in other states?
I have not talked to them about that, but I have had a lot of people in California ask me about this. Everything from people that I'm talking to when I'm shopping for groceries to other elected officials. I think that we are going to see a lot of other states have to think about what to do. I think what Texas and what Trump has pushed Texas to do here is to set off what could be a whole rash of changes in how we vote. We're already seeing Trump step up this game and now attack mail-in voting, which is widely used in California. 81% of Californians voted by mail in our last election. And now we're seeing Trump try to attack mail-in elections, vote by mail. So I think we are going to have to see other states try to consider what to do if Trump is going to continue to fundamentally attack our democracy.
Which other Democratic-controlled states would you want to see take on this effort?
Well, I think every state, not just democratically controlled states, ought to be stepping up in this moment. I think we're seeing some real bravery coming out of folks in Texas who are saying, we don't want to do this. We're seeing legislators try to push back. We're seeing citizens of Texas try to push back. And so I would love to see other states, all states, step up in this moment and try to have independent redistricting commissions, which most of our gerrymandered states, obviously, they do not. So there's an opportunity here, not just to do what California's done, but for lots of states to actually stop gerrymandering and move toward an independent redistricting commission, which is still the gold standard of how to do this. California is not backing away from what we have done. We are keeping that system. This is a short-term response to an emergency, to a crisis of democracy that's been provoked by Donald Trump and Republicans.
I want to play for you what one California Republican assemblyman had to say about this.
We should prove by example that we can do this better, that we create the foundations for the rest of the nation, because it's supposed to go as California goes the nation. But we've lost that. And that's what we've seen and heard today. I mean, we can't even read our own bill, but we'll decide to present it and vote on it too.
Why is he wrong? And how do you think Governor Newsom is handling this with his aggressive stance toward the Trump administration?
Well, look, Republicans in Washington, D.C. had the opportunity, including California Republicans, to vote for national independent redistricting commissions. H.R. 1, the For the People Act, when I was in Congress just a few years ago. And you know how many Republicans voted for that bill? Zero. None. We had the opportunity in Congress for Republicans, including California Republicans, to say, we think independent redistricting should be adopted in every single state in this country, with each state doing their own independent, nonpartisan redistricting process. Republicans oppose that. So it is incredibly hypocritical for them to now act like they are some champions of a system that they refused to support and put in place. And had that bill passed, we wouldn't be seeing Texas do what it's doing right now, and we wouldn't be seeing the response from California that we're seeing. As I'm traveling the state as governor, talking to people, whether they've agreed with everything about Gavin Newsom or not, they are glad he is fighting back. I think Americans want a check on President Trump, including some people I've talked to who voted for President Trump. But they think he too must follow the Constitution. He too must obey the law. And they understand that this 2026 congressional election is our chance, our only chance in the next 2 years, to put a check on President Trump's effort to trample our Constitution.
All right, former California Congresswoman Katie Porter, thanks so much.